Hey folks, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to our video series on navigating the world of building permits. Join us as we break down the complexities of the permit process, share expert advice, and provide valuable insights to help you successfully obtain building permits within the province of Ontario. Regardless of your background, skills, and level of experience in the construction industry, this series is your go-to resource for understanding, applying, and achieving compliance in the world of building permits. This content targets two main groups of people. First, homeowners. Homeowners who watch the video series should feel empowered and confident to tackle the application for a building permit on their own. On the other hand, those who may lack confidence in navigating the complexities of the building permit application process can rely on AM Design's expertise to handle it seamlessly for them. Contact AM Design today to simplify your building permit process and ensure your project starts smoothly and on time. Second, industry professionals such as engineers and architects. Engineers and architects looking to streamline their workflow and enhance their business operations can benefit greatly from partnering with AM Design. By collaborating with us, they can focus on their core competencies and innovative design projects while we manage the intricate and time-consuming process of obtaining building permits. AM Design's comprehensive understanding of local regulations and permit requirements ensures a smooth, efficient, and compliant approval process. This partnership allows architects and engineers to deliver their projects on time and within budget, providing their clients with exceptional service and quality outcomes. Let's dive right into it. Building Permit Series: Two-Dwelling Unit Houses. To start the learning process, you'll need a few essential resource materials. First, the Ontario Building Code. Go to Google and search for Ontario Building Code Digital Download PDF. Look for the result you can see on the screen. Click on Option 3 and request a digital copy for non-commercial use. You must fill in all the information required and hit Submit at the bottom of the page. It might take a couple of hours, but the OBC Volume 1 and 2 will be emailed to you in a PDF format. Second, the TACBOX Standard Details. For the purpose of this video, we are going to focus on Section B, Basement Alterations. Search for TACBOX Standard Details Download. Many pages should host this file. I am going to look at the first result that appears to me. This is what it should look like. It's a 77-page document full of standard construction details, drawings, and specifications that will facilitate things for us. The third and final resource for this video is a provincial webpage dedicated to those who are seeking to add a second unit in their houses. The link will be available in the video's description. This page will be our main guide since it covers almost all aspects of this type of application and is organized in a very intuitive and user-friendly manner. I will take this opportunity to emphasize their disclaimer and adopt their wording as my own.
This document is provided for convenience only and should not be relied upon as a substitute for construction, engineering, architectural, or legal advice. The Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing does not assume responsibility for errors or oversights resulting from use of this document.
Let's use the province checklist as a guide. Number 1. Municipal zoning and other bylaws. I chose the city of Guelph to exemplify this step. Every municipality is slightly different, so it might differ from city to city, but the concept should be fairly similar and applicable to most places in Ontario. By searching for the city's name followed by zoning bylaw, the proper results should appear. Here is what we need. The first document is the actual bylaw followed by the interactive zoning map. Another smart resource would be to contact the city directly asking for clarifications. You can typically call or email them. However, be diligent and have your questions organized and clear before doing so. In the bylaw document, you should find all the information for completing item number 1 of the checklist. The document brings all the official plans and policies into effect. Back to our case, here we can see the required number of parking spaces, for example. And this is the interactive zoning map. Residential zones are typically labeled with the letter R. Once you pick an address, it shows you a link for the zoning bylaw info. This can be very handy and point you to the appropriate bylaw section, which tells you critical info such as minimum lot area, minimum lot frontage, maximum building height, setbacks, etc. Another way of quickly finding second unit zoning and other bylaws information is to search for it directly using these terms. Here, Google directed us right to the desired page, eliminating the hassle of navigating the city's website, which can be time-consuming. This page brings us a summary of the previously seen bylaws and highlights key factors you should comply with when submitting your permit application. In this link, for instance, we can find more about the fees and documents required. Here you can find what the City of Guelph calls the Additional Residential Dwelling Unit, ARDU, registration form. You must read carefully and fill the form entirely with accurate information. This form will need to be submitted together with your application later on. This completes item number 1 of our checklist. Let's jump to the next step, which is in fact getting a building permit. Essentially, you will need to put together information in these two main groups. Drawings, these might consist of, but are not limited to, floor plans of all levels, a site plan, a survey, elevations, sections, details, etc. For the purposes of efficiency of this video, I won't be able to teach you how to draw and prepare these drawings. However, if you are determined to do it yourself, I would encourage you to research online methods of preparing architectural drawings and how to operate drafting software. You can use the tack box that we saw earlier as a reference. Section A brings a sample of drawings. By analyzing these drawings, you can get a sense of the level of detail and information you are supposed to achieve. Documents and forms, these are the most common requested ones. Schedule 1 and the Additional Residential Dwelling Unit Registration Form. Note the name of the registration form might change from city to city. Let me quickly show a practical example of what we just discussed. Yet using as a case study the City of Guelph, let's go to the permit page. Then residential building permits and inspections. Here you will find links for all kinds of permits. The one that describes what we want is this one: creating an additional residential dwelling unit, in-law suite, or basement apartment. If your scope of work involves more than one type of permit, for example, a second unit and a new deck, you need to check the requirements for both and meet them all in your application. So here they simplified the process in a few steps. Step 1. Permit application. Guelph, like other municipalities, accepts applications electronically, which speeds up the process. Step 2. Submitting drawings. Step 3. Additional documents. Step 4. Fees. Once you submit your application, or when it is accepted, you will be requested to pay the fees. Step 5. Inspection requirements. Other important things to remember. Depending on your scope of work, some places will ask you if the contractor you are hiring has a license or registration. If they do, you should provide their registration number for verification. If they are not, the city may ask the homeowner to assume responsibility for the construction done by the contractor you choose. Electronic applications are becoming more popular, and they can make the overall process move faster when you submit a complete application, meaning you have not missed any document, drawings, or form. The municipality needs to provide you with a response within 10 business days. This completes item number 2 of our checklist. Moving to item 3, inspections. After receiving your building permit, municipal building inspectors will review the work at different stages of construction, including framing, insulation, plumbing, and interior finishes, as required by the building code. It's important to confirm with your inspector what needs to be inspected. You or your agent must notify the building department when each stage is ready for inspection. If you have a second unit, whether new or existing, ensure it meets safety standards. For concerns about an existing second unit, contact your local building department. We won't dive too deep into inspections, but the key thing here is always to stay in touch with your inspector and make sure to coordinate with him and your contractor the inspection dates and phases. This completes item number 3 of our checklist. Building code requirements for second units. This is the last item and the most detailed one. Age of your house. The age of your house matters because it will determine how much flexibility you will have when adding a second unit, which is technically considered as a renovation. Section 11 of the Ontario Building Code is dedicated to renovations. Look at these 2 fragments extracted from the code. If your house is more than 5 years old, it is classified as an existing house, and you can benefit from compliance alternatives described in Part 11 of the code. If your house is less than 5 years old, then it is classified as a new building, and under the building code, it generally must meet new construction requirements. Location of your second unit. You can construct a secondary unit in any area of your home. It can be a single-story space or spread across multiple levels. Many secondary units are commonly built in the basement or attic. The building code regulations may differ depending on the location of the second unit within your house. Back to our TACBOC details. In Section B02B, we can see an example of how the location of the second unit will interfere and trigger different requirements. In this example, the second unit is in the basement, but the same concept can be applied when the second unit occupies other areas. Here we have 3 different scenarios for egress. Each of them has its own particularities and requirements, but the common factor is that the second unit should be served by 2 separate means of egress, one being an egress window and the second one being either an independent or a shared exit. We will cover it in more detail on exits and windows. Room size and floor area. The building code sets out minimum room sizes in dwelling units, including second units. Room sizes vary depending on whether rooms are separated by walls or the unit is open concept. For example, the minimum area of a dining room separated by walls is 7 square meters, 75 square feet, while an open concept bachelor unit combining sleeping, living, and dining areas and kitchen space is permitted to be 13.5 square meters, 145 square feet. Ceiling heights. You are also required to have minimum ceiling heights in your rooms. Meeting the ceiling height requirements can sometimes be a challenge in an existing house. Choose the location of your second unit carefully. Ceiling height requirements for second units vary in different parts of your house, such as in basements and attics. A basement second unit is permitted to have a ceiling height of 1.95 m, 6 foot 4 3/4 inch, over the entire required floor area, including the route inside the unit leading to the exit. An attic second unit, which may have sloped ceilings, would meet the building code if at least 50% of the required floor area has a ceiling height of 2.03 meters, 6 feet 8 inches. But this does not include areas with low ceilings less than 1.4 meters, 4 feet 7 inches, high. If complying with ceiling heights is not achievable in the basement of your house, you might want to consider underpinning your basement. Underpinning is a method of increasing the depth of an existing foundation by constructing new footings beneath the existing footings. TACBOC covers and explains a bit about underpinning. Keep in mind that if you intend to do underpinning, depending on the extent of it, you might be required to get a professional engineer to sign off on your drawings. Windows. Windows are required in a second unit. The size of windows you need is determined by the size of the unit. Larger units will require more or bigger windows. Window sizes are also based on what type of room they are in. Some windows can also be used as another way to exit a second unit. For more information, please see the section on exits. Where the window is not being used as an exit, minimum window sizes are described in the table. We will skip the next 3 items, F, G, and H, because they can vary significantly. Additionally, most homeowners considering adding a secondary suite are likely to be in urban or densely populated areas where municipal utilities such as sewage, water, and electricity are available and already hooked up to the building. So achieving compliance with these items tends not to be a problem. Fire safety. For fire safety, you will need a fire separation between your second unit and the rest of the house. A fire separation acts as a physical barrier to slow the spread of fire from one part of the house to the other. The fire separation must be continuous and include protected openings if necessary, for example, fire dampers, in order to work properly. What is a fire separation? A fire separation can be a floor, wall, door with a self-closing device, or a combination of those things. It can be built using typical building materials such as lumber and drywall. For example, a 30-minute fire separation can be built using 38 mm x 89 mm, 2 inches by 4 inches, with studs, 13 mm, 1/2 inch, thick drywall on both sides, and fiber-type insulation between the studs. Lath and plaster construction typically found in older houses is an example of a 15-minute fire separation. When adding a second unit, the building code requires a 30-minute fire separation between units, and also between units and common areas. If the renovation of your house to add a second unit requires the alteration of an existing floor or ceiling, you are required to make that a 30-minute fire separation. See floor/ceiling diagram. A fire separation can be reduced to 15 minutes if the entire house has interconnected smoke alarms. Going beyond code. Noise and vibration traveling between units is a common problem for people that live in multi-unit residential buildings, including houses with second units. It is a good idea to build extra noise protection in the walls, floors, and ceilings that divide your second unit from the remainder of the house. There are many different ways to construct a wall so that it has greater noise protection, including additional insulation, extra layers of drywall, etc. Volume 2, SB3, of the Ontario Building Code brings an extensive and detailed guide for fire and sound resistance of building assemblies of walls, floors, ceilings, and roofs. Smoke alarms. You will need smoke alarms, sometimes known as smoke detectors, in your second unit that must meet the CAN/ULC S531 performance standard. A label on the alarm will indicate whether it meets this standard. Your smoke alarms must also have a flashing light when they are activated. Smoke alarms are widely available at hardware and home renovation stores. Proper placement of smoke alarms is important. They must be located on every level of a house. Outside sleeping areas, which, depending on the layout of a floor, can also count as the smoke alarm for that level. In each bedroom in the second unit. In common areas of the house shared by occupants of both units, such as entrances and laundry rooms. Here is an example using our TACBOC plan. Going beyond code. To enhance the fire safety of your second unit, you should consider installing smoke alarms in storage rooms and service areas that are interconnected with the smoke alarms in the second unit. Fires that start in remote areas of a house can often be the most deadly as they can burn for longer periods before being detected. Carbon monoxide alarms. In addition to smoke alarms, you may also have to install carbon monoxide alarms. They are required if your house has a furnace that uses natural gas, propane, or other similar fuels. They are also required if your house has an attached garage. Carbon monoxide alarms can be either electrically powered or battery operated and must be located near bedrooms and sleeping areas in the second unit. In the furnace room, if the furnace room is a separate space from the residential units. Exits. Your second unit needs safe exits. There are different rules for exits depending on where in your house the second unit is located. Providing a separate exit for the second unit is preferable. If that is not possible, a common exit for both units in your house is allowed if the exit area has a 30-minute fire separation and contains smoke alarms that are interconnected to both units. In cases where the exit from one unit leads through another unit, a second means of escape must be provided by using a window. Windows that may be needed in an emergency as a second means of escape must be large enough for a person to get through and be easy to open without the use of tools. There are different requirements, shown in the diagrams below, for means of escape windows depending on whether they are located in the basement or upper floors. That wraps up our checklist for the second unit and leads us to the end of this presentation. We hope we clearly explained the overall permit process and provided you with valuable insights. If you found this video helpful and are ready to take the next step with your building permit needs, don't hesitate to contact AM Design. We're here to streamline the process and bring your vision to life. Reach out to us or visit the website using the link in the video's description below to get a quote. Let's build something great together. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below and let's chat. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on future content. Until next time, stay awesome and take care.